What's going on, YouTube? Armed and willing here. Um, this is the day after a terrible massacre that happened at in Connecticut at that elementary school. Um, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family members and victims of that sick and twisted event. My reasoning behind this video is because events like yesterday are terrible, terrible incidents, but they bring forth the discussion for gun control. A major percentage of the population believes and supports a view that if the government banned firearms for citizens, then these incidents would disappear. I didn't want to discuss the incident as whole, really, because it's just, I get sad and sick, and it really upsets me. So I'm gonna try to, if I can, promote some benefit to individuals out there, to, or basically promote the need of personal possession of a firearm. That came out pretty goofy, but basically I want the general public to realize that they need to arm themselves and protect themselves. Fact one, other people aren't going to protect you. That's an established fact. You have the police department. They are small in comparison to the amount of criminals out there. They cannot stop every criminal, and they cannot be everywhere at the same time. This is huge to the realization of we need to protect ourselves. How are you going to do that? If you take away guns, how are you going to protect yourself? Personally, I like my odds in a fist fight. I know if I'm fighting for self-defense or my life, that I'm going to come at you crazy. I mean, not everybody is a young male in their prime, so to speak. Females, how are you going to protect yourselves? Cops can't do it all the time. Your husband's not there all the time. Even if you take self-defense classes, which I am an advocate for, I think every woman should do it. How are you going to protect yourselves against a criminal? You think that if the gun control ban goes in effect and they eliminate firearms, you think that criminals aren't going to have knives? So if a guy in his 20s to 30s like me, comes at you, how are you going to stop yourself from me carrying out my will without a firearm? You're not. So if we eliminate gun control or guns, we can't protect ourselves, people. That's what I want you to realize. Criminals want some form of gun ban. They do not want the people that they are victimizing to be armed. I don't understand why people can't realize this. It's a simple fact. If you have a gun, I will not use my gun to carry out my sick plan on you. I will victimize somebody who doesn't have a gun. That's the mentality. Now, it was a terrible analogy because I'm not a criminal like that, but that is the mentality that these people have. Um, we as victims need to wise up because it's getting to the point where victims are becoming more and more prevalent and easier prey. Okay? Throughout history, people, the need for protection was a huge, huge aspect that they confronted throughout life. Um, Pioneers, you know, and I know we're becoming more we've evolved into a society who has morals and beliefs that constitute that we shouldn't have to protect ourselves. Everything can be handled through effective communication, and hopefully most people share the same values and morals that we do. Well, people, I'm here to tell you they don't. All right, we need to wise up because guns is the only way a citizen can protect themselves. If a criminal tries to do a criminal activity, it is only stopped by the establishment that the victim has a firearm. Plain and simple. And even then, it might end up in a shootout and you both might die. But it's better than you or the victim, in the instance, being the only one dying. Because it's sickening, and I hate when these instances happen. But you know what the fact of the matter is here, people, is that they're always going to happen. Whether guns are around or not, they'll obtain them illegally. Because one fact is that the government, establishes a gun ban. Let's say this. Let's say there's a gun ban. So the average citizen, me and you, no criminal record, cannot purchase a gun. We cannot have a gun. What happens then? If you have not already are in possession of firearms, you don't have a gun. So guess what? You're screwed. You will not be allowed to buy a gun. Guess who will? The criminal will use the same tactics that they always use. They go to the streets and they will be able to purchase an illegal firearm on the black market. It's very, very simple. Very easy to do. A gun ban's not going to change that because there's so many guns on the earth right now that you're never going to get rid of them. So the realization here, people, you need to wake up. Now, the incidents that happened at that school, you know, that is something that needs to be analyzed by government institutions. You know, they need to, if we need to present security officers at all the entrances and exits of these educational institutions, that's what we need to do. Taxpayers will pay it. I mean, it's a need. Security needs to be considered by these, considered by these different schools. They need to realize, like, hey, we need to protect the people and the employees we have throughout these institutions. So that's something as a whole, because when you send your kid to school, you expect for that to be a safe environment. You don't expect for sick and twisted individuals to carry out their will or their fantasies at places like this. But you know what, people, we can say how sick and tired and disgusted, and that that person was so twisted that it won't happen again. Nobody could be like that again. Well, people, wake up, because it's gonna happen. People have disorders and mental structures that they it's just gonna happen. It's always gonna happen. There's sick people out there, And there's always going to be sick people out there. So I want you guys to just, if this, I just want you to understand the need for our Second Amendment. Because one thing's true, even if you take away the Second Amendment, most, you know, gun enthusiasts have multiple firearms. You can take away portions or make it more difficult for a citizen to own a firearm, but guess what? Most, gun enthusiasts have multiple, and you're never going to get them from you. Now, gun enthusiasts obtain firearms in the way that the government has it right now, in through background checks. They're not the people that you're worried about. You're worried about individuals like the ones who carried out this horrendous act by stealing firearms. That's who you're worried about. Illegal possession of firearms, which this 20-year-old had. He was breaking the law with his possession of a firearm. Same thing that 95% of criminals do when they use firearms. They don't go to the store and legally purchase that firearm. They haven't gone through the background checks. So gun bans are not going to stop anything. We need to wise up, people. You got to protect yourself, and you got to protect your own family. You need to go out and purchase a gun. Carry it. That's why we have concealed carry. I carry my gun. And, before I carried my firearm, I had maybe 2 instances where I would have used it, pulled it and used it as a deterrent. And I was fortunate enough to escape with my life in both instances. So, people, you're only going to be able to protect yourself. Nobody out there is going to protect you. The sooner you realize that, the better you have to not become a victim. It's sad that this society has come to it, but it's going to be a factor throughout your life. So I hope that I can persuade you to understand the need for a Second Amendment. I hope that I persuade you to understand that if you do oppose the Second Amendment and you think that gun control is the only way to stop such cases, I hope that I shed a little bit of light to you, because these individuals, even if by a miracle they can't obtain a gun in a gun ban situation, they'll use bombs or they'll use other means, explosives of some sort, or poison, or it's gonna always be around. So the only way to best protect yourself is yourself, people. Make it happen. This is Armed and Willing here. My thoughts and prayers go out to the victims, and I'll be praying for you, because I could only imagine. And they're, those 20 kids are in heaven, so they're sharing paradise with our Lord. Anyways, God bless you, people. Keep on keeping on, and I hope maybe I opened your eyes to my mentality behind it, because somebody needs to. Take care, guys, and protect yourselves and those you love. Armed and Willing, signing out.